You're an angel, Vivian. You've always been our angel. My mother's words echoed in my head as I stared at the medical forms spread across my kitchen table. Angel. Right. More like a spare parts catalog with legs. My name is Vivian and I'm 34 years old. Single mom to the most incredible 6-year-old on the planet. And apparently, the only person in my family with a liver compatible enough to save my mother's life. Mommy, why are you crying? Eliana's small voice cut through my thoughts. She stood in the doorway wearing her favorite unicorn pajamas, clutching her stuffed elephant. I'm not crying, baby. Just tired. I wiped my eyes quickly and forced a smile. Come here. She climbed onto my lap, her warm little body fitting perfectly against mine. This was my world. This tiny person who called me mommy and thought I hung the moon. Not the woman upstairs who only called when she needed something. My phone buzzed. Mom, of course. Vivian, did you schedule the pre-op appointment yet? Dr. Martinez's office called 3 times today. You can't keep putting this off. I know, Mom. I'm handling it. Are you? Because Alina said you haven't even filled out the psychological evaluation forms. The transplant team needs those by Friday. Alina, my 28-year-old sister who'd never donated so much as blood, but somehow had opinions about my medical decisions. The golden child who could do no wrong, even when she was doing absolutely nothing. I'll get them done. You better. I don't have time for your procrastination, Vivian. I'm dying here. The line went dead. No goodbye. No thank you. Just the dial tone and the weight of her expectations crushing down on me. Eliana looked up at me with those big brown eyes. Was that Grandma? Yeah, sweetheart. Is she still sick? Very sick. I smoothed her hair back. But Mommy might be able to help her get better. By giving her your liver? Kids hear everything. I'd tried to keep the details from her, but she was too smart, too observant. Maybe, we'll see. But then, what happens to your liver? I'll be okay. People can live with part of their liver. The words felt hollow. I'd be okay physically, maybe. But emotionally? That was another story. My phone rang again. This time it was Dad. Vivienne, your mother is very upset. She's been crying all afternoon. I said I'd handle the forms. It's not just the forms. She feels like you're not committed to this, like you're looking for excuses. Excuses for what? Major surgery? Months of recovery? Missing work and potentially losing my job? You know what I mean. I did know what he meant. They wanted me to be grateful for the opportunity to sacrifice myself, to smile and say thank you while they treated me like a walking organ bank. Dad, I have to go. Eliana needs dinner. Think about what's important here, Vivian. Family comes first. Family. The word tasted bitter in my mouth. When had they ever put me first? When Eliana was born and I needed help. When I got divorced and had nowhere to go. When I was working 2 jobs just to keep us afloat. Never. But now they needed something from me, and suddenly I was family. I made Eliana mac and cheese while she chatted about her day at school. Normal 6-year-old stuff. Friends and playground drama and a spelling test she was nervous about. Real problems, not the manufactured guilt trips my family specialized in. Mommy, my head hurts. I looked over at her. She was rubbing her temple, her face scrunched up in pain. How bad, baby? Really bad, like someone squeezing it. I knelt beside her chair, feeling her forehead. No fever, but something was wrong. Eliana never complained about pain unless it was serious. Can you stand up for me? She tried, but her legs wobbled. Then her eyes rolled back. Eliana! She collapsed, her small body convulsing on the kitchen floor. Foam bubbled from her mouth as her limbs jerked uncontrollably. No, no, no! I grabbed my phone, dialing 911 while trying to keep her from hitting her head on the cabinet. I need an ambulance. My daughter is having a seizure. The next few minutes blurred together. Paramedics, flashing lights, Eliana's tiny body strapped to a gurney, still unconscious. "We're taking her to Children's Hospital," the EMT said. "You can ride with us." I climbed into the ambulance, holding Eliana's hand as we raced through the city. Her face was so pale, so still. At the hospital, they whisked her away for tests. CT scans, MRIs, blood work. I sat in the waiting room, my hands shaking as I tried to process what was happening. A doctor approached, his expression grave. "Mrs. Kent? I'm Dr. Dunn, pediatric neurosurgery. We need to talk." "Your daughter has a brain tumor," Dr. Dunn said, his voice gentle but direct. "It's pressing against her brainstem, which caused the seizure. We need to operate immediately." The words hit me like a physical blow. I gripped the plastic chair arm so hard my knuckles went white. "How immediately?" "Within the hour. Every minute we wait increases the risk of permanent damage or—" He didn't finish the sentence. He didn't need to. "Is she going to be okay?" "The surgery is complex, but we caught it early. She has a good chance." He paused. "Do you have family who can be here with you? This could take several hours." "Family, right. I'll call them." Dr. Dunn squeezed my shoulder. "We're going to take excellent care of her." I watched him walk away, then pulled out my phone with trembling fingers. Mom answered on the second ring. "Vivienne, what's wrong? You sound terrible." "Mom, I'm at the hospital. Eliana had a seizure. She has a brain tumor and they need to operate right now." Silence. "Mom, did you hear me?" "Oh my God, a brain tumor? Are you sure?" "Yes, I'm sure. Can you and Dad come, please? I can't do this alone." "Vivian, honey, this is terrible timing. We're at the airport." "What?" "We're flying to Paris tonight, remember? I told you about this trip weeks ago. It's my last chance to see Europe before the transplant surgery." I stared at the phone. "Mom, your granddaughter is having brain surgery." "I know, and I feel awful about the timing, but we can't cancel now. Do you know how much these tickets cost? And the hotel reservations?" "Are you serious right now?" "Don't take that tone with me. This is hard for everyone. Put Dad on speaker." I heard shuffling, then Dad's voice. "Vivienne, we're so sorry about Eliana, but your mother needs this trip. The stress of her illness has been overwhelming. Dad, please, I'm begging you, come to the hospital. We'll be back in a week. Eliana will be fine by then." "You don't know that. What if she's not fine? What if something goes wrong?" "Nothing's going to go wrong," Mom said. "You're being dramatic." "Dramatic? My 6-year-old daughter might die tonight." "Don't say things like that. You'll jinx it." I couldn't breathe. This wasn't happening. They weren't actually choosing a vacation over their granddaughter's life. "Is Alina with you?" "Of course she is. She's been so supportive through all this. Unlike some people." "Can I talk to her?" More shuffling. Then Alina's voice, bright and cheerful. "Hey, Viv. Sorry about the little drama queen. Kids are so resilient though, right? She'll bounce right back." "Drama queen? She's unconscious, Alina. They're cutting open her skull." "Ew, gross. Don't give me the gory details. Look, I know this sucks, but Mom really needs this trip. She's been so depressed about the liver thing." "The liver thing?" "You know what I mean. All the uncertainty about whether you're actually going to go through with the donation. It's been really stressful for her." I felt something cold settle in my chest. I never said I wasn't going through with it. "But you haven't exactly been enthusiastic either. Mom needs to know her family supports her." "By abandoning her granddaughter?" "You're being so dramatic. It's just surgery. Happens all the time." A nurse approached me. "Mrs. Kent, we're ready to take Eliana to the OR. Would you like to walk with her?" I nodded, then spoke into the phone. "I have to go. They're taking her to surgery now." "Okay, we'll call you when we land," Mom said. "Try not to worry so much." The line went dead. I followed the nurse down the hallway, my legs feeling like they might give out. Eliana looked so small on the gurney, tubes and wires attached to her tiny body. "Mommy?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "I'm here, baby. I'm scared. I know, but Dr. Dunn is going to fix you up, okay? And I'll be right here when you wake up." "Where's Grandma and Grandpa?" I swallowed hard. "They couldn't make it tonight." "Why not?" "They're busy." She closed her eyes as they wheeled her through the OR doors. I stood there watching until she disappeared from view. My phone buzzed. A text from Alina. A selfie of her, Mom, and Dad at the airport gate, all smiles and designer luggage. The caption read, "Paris, here we come. Don't worry, Viv. We'll bring Eliana back a cute souvenir." I stared at the photo, their faces glowing with excitement, not a trace of concern or guilt. Something inside me cracked, not broke, cracked, like ice on a frozen lake, spreading slowly but inevitably. I walked back to the waiting room and sat down in the same plastic chair. The same chair where I'd begged my family to show up for the most terrifying night of my life. And they'd chosen Paris instead. The waiting room clock ticked past midnight. 2 hours since they'd taken Eliana into surgery. 2 hours of sitting alone while my family posted Instagram stories from their first-class flight. "Mrs. Kent?" I looked up. Dr. Dunn stood there, still in his scrubs, pulling off his surgical cap. "How is she?" "The surgery went well. We removed the entire tumor. She's stable and heading to recovery now." My legs gave out and I collapsed back into the chair. Thank God. "She'll need to stay in the ICU for a few days, but her prognosis is excellent. You can see her in about an hour." "Thank you. Thank you so much." He sat down beside me. "Are you okay? You look like you haven't eaten in days." "I'm fine. Just relieved." "Where's your family? I thought someone would be here with you." I laughed, but it came out bitter. "They're in Paris." His eyebrows shot up. "Paris? My mother's last hurrah before her liver transplant, apparently more important than her granddaughter's brain surgery." "I'm sorry. That must be incredibly difficult." "It is what it is." He handed me his card. "Call me if you need anything, and get some food. Eliana's going to need you strong when she wakes up." After he left, I sat there staring at my phone. 17 missed calls from Adrian, Eliana's father. My ex-husband, who'd been MIA for months, suddenly cared now that it was convenient for him. I didn't call him back. Instead, I scrolled through the family group chat. Photos of champagne glasses, the Eiffel Tower, fancy hotel rooms, not a single message asking about Eliana. My phone rang. Unknown number. "Hello? Hi, is this Vivian? This is Penelope Rodriguez from the Transplant Center. I'm your mother's coordinator." "Oh, hi. I'm calling because we haven't received your updated medical forms. Your surgery is scheduled for next Friday, and we need everything completed by Wednesday." Next Friday. 6 days away, while my daughter recovered from brain surgery. "I need to reschedule." "Reschedule? Mrs. Kent, your mother's condition is quite serious. Delaying the surgery could be, my 6-year-old daughter just had emergency brain surgery tonight. I can't have major surgery next week." "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Is she okay?" "She will be, but I need to be here for her recovery." "Of course. Let me check the calendar. We might be able to push it back 2 weeks, but..." "No." The word came out sharper than I intended. "I'm sorry." I said no. I'm withdrawing as a donor. Silence on the other end. "Mrs. Kent, I understand you're under tremendous stress right now, but this is a very serious decision. Perhaps we should wait until..." "I'm not stressed. I'm clear. Crystal clear, actually. Your mother is counting on this transplant. Without it, she'll have to find another donor, or wait for the list like everyone else. But you're a perfect match. The chances of finding another compatible donor are not my problem anymore. My voice was steady, calm. It surprised me. Mrs. Kent, please think about this. Your mother could die without this transplant. My mother chose Paris over her granddaughter's brain surgery. She made her priorities clear. I don't understand. She's in France right now, posting selfies while my daughter fights for her life. That's the kind of person I'd be saving. Family dynamics can be complicated, but there's nothing complicated about this. I'm done. What should I tell your mother? Tell her to call you herself from now on. Don't contact me again. I hung up and immediately blocked the number. Then I opened the family group chat and started typing. For anyone who cares, Eliana's surgery was successful. She's alive. No thanks to any of you. I hit send, then left the group chat entirely. Next, I blocked Mom's number, then Dad's, then Alina's. My phone felt lighter in my hands. A nurse appeared. Mrs. Kent, Eliana's awake and asking for you. I followed her through the ICU doors. Eliana lay in a hospital bed that dwarfed her tiny frame, her head wrapped in white bandages, but her eyes were open and alert. Mommy? I'm here, baby. I took her small hand in mine. Did they fix my brain? They did. You're going to be just fine. Good. I was scared I wouldn't remember how to do math. I laughed through my tears. Your math skills are safe. Where's Grandma? I squeezed her hand. It's just us, sweetheart. But that's okay. We're a pretty good team. She smiled. The best team. The best team, I agreed. My phone buzzed with notifications. Probably my family realizing they'd been blocked. Probably panicking about the transplant. I turned the phone face down and focused on my daughter, the only family member who'd ever really mattered. 3 days passed in the ICU. 3 days of monitoring Eliana's recovery, sleeping in uncomfortable chairs, and eating vending machine food. 3 days of blessed silence from my family, until my phone started buzzing with notifications from numbers I didn't recognize. Vivian, this is your Aunt Carol. Your mother gave me your number. What's this about you backing out of the transplant? Delete. Viv, it's cousin Mike. Heard you're having second thoughts about helping Camilla. That's pretty messed up. Delete. This is Dr. Martinez's office. We need to discuss your recent decision regarding... Delete. They were using other people's phones now. Pathetic. Mommy, who keeps calling? Eliana was sitting up in bed, looking much better. The bandages were smaller now, and she'd been asking for real food instead of IV nutrition. Nobody important, baby. Is it Grandma? Maybe. Why don't you answer? I sat on the edge of her bed. Sometimes grown-ups have disagreements. About what? About what's most important. She nodded seriously, like she understood. You think I'm most important. You're the most important thing in the world to me. And Grandma thinks she's most important? Smart kid. Too smart sometimes. Something like that. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from a number I didn't recognize. But the message made it clear who it was from. Water the plants at Mom and Dad's house. They forgot to ask before they left. Key under the mat. A. I stared at the message. They were still in Paris, still posting pictures of croissants and museums, and they wanted me to water their plants. Another text. Also, can you pick up Mom's prescription refill? She's almost out of her liver meds. Then another. And maybe grab some groceries, milk, bread, those yogurts Mom likes. They'll be hungry when they get back. I screenshot the messages and saved them. Evidence of their complete disconnect from reality. Mommy, you look angry. I'm not angry, sweetheart, just amazed. At what? At how some people think the world revolves around them. Dr. Dunn appeared in the doorway. Good morning, ladies. How are we feeling today? Much better, Eliana said. When can I go home? That's actually what I wanted to discuss. Your recovery has been remarkable. I think we can discharge you tomorrow morning. Really? I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Really, you'll need to take it easy for a few weeks, but you should be able to return to normal activities gradually. What about school? Give it another week, then we'll see. Your brain needs time to heal. After he left, Eliana turned to me. Mommy, will Grandma visit me when I get home? The question hit me like a punch to the gut. I don't know, baby. She visited me when I had chicken pox. That was different. How? She wasn't in Paris then. But she'll be back soon, right? I nodded, not trusting my voice. Will she bring me a present? Maybe. My phone rang. Another unknown number. Hello? Vivienne, it's Raymond. Dad, using someone else's phone. I don't want to talk to you. Please don't hang up. We need to discuss this situation. What situation? You know what situation. Your mother is beside herself. She's cutting her trip short to come home and talk to you. Don't bother, I won't change my mind. Vivienne, be reasonable. You're upset about us not being there for Eliana's surgery, and I understand that. But you can't let your emotions cloud your judgment about something this important. My emotions? Yes, you're acting irrationally. I'm acting rationally for the first time in my life. Your mother could die without this transplant. Then she should have thought about that before choosing a vacation over her granddaughter. That's not fair. We had no way of knowing. You had every way of knowing. I called you, I begged you to come, and you chose Paris. The trip was already paid for. So was Eliana's life, apparently, and you decided it wasn't worth the price of a plane ticket. Don't be dramatic. Dramatic? My 6-year-old daughter asked me why Grandma loves Aunt Alina more than her. What should I tell her, Dad? Silence. What should I tell her when she asks why nobody came to see her in the hospital? When she asks why Grandma cared more about croissants than her brain surgery? Vivienne, I'll tell you what I'm going to tell her. I'm going to tell her that some people only love you when you're useful to them, and when you're not useful anymore, they throw you away. That's not true, isn't it? When's the last time any of you called just to check on us? When's the last time you visited without needing something? He didn't answer. That's what I thought. Your mother needs you. My mother needs a liver. She's never needed me. I hung up and blocked that number too. Eliana was watching me with those big, serious eyes. Mommy, why does Grandma love Aunt Alina more than me? And there it was, the question that broke my heart and sealed my resolve all at once. She doesn't love Aunt Alina more than you, baby, I said, but the words felt like ash in my mouth. Grandma just shows love differently. But Aunt Alina gets to go to Paris and I don't even get a visit. I knelt beside her hospital bed. You know what? Some people aren't very good at being grandparents, but that doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. Are you good at being a mommy? I try my best. You're the best mommy ever. I kissed her forehead. And you're the best daughter ever. We went home the next morning. Our little apartment felt like a sanctuary after the sterile hospital. Eliana settled on the couch with her stuffed elephant, and I made her favorite soup. My phone had been quiet all morning. Too quiet. Then the doorbell rang. I looked through the peephole and my stomach dropped. Mom, Dad, and Alina stood on my doorstep, looking like they'd come straight from the airport. Designer luggage and all. Vivienne, open this door right now. Mom's voice carried through the wood. I didn't move. We know you're in there. We saw your car. More pounding. Mommy, who is it? Eliana called from the couch. Just some people selling something. Stay there, baby. Vivienne Marie, you open this door or I'm calling the police. I unlocked the door but kept the chain on. What do you want? We want to talk to you, Dad said. Let us in. No, don't be childish, Alina snapped. We flew back early because of your little tantrum. My tantrum? Yes, your tantrum. Mom is devastated. She cried the entire flight home. Good. Mom's face appeared in the crack. How can you say that? I'm your mother. Are you? Because mothers usually show up when their grandchildren are dying. Eliana wasn't dying. You said the surgery went well. I said it went well after the fact. When I called you, I didn't know if she'd survive, but she did survive. So what's the problem? I stared at her. The problem is that you didn't care enough to find out. We cared. We just couldn't change our plans. Couldn't or wouldn't. Vivian, be reasonable, Dad said. We're here now. Let's sit down and work this out. There's nothing to work out. I'm not giving you my liver. Yes, you are, Mom said. You're my daughter. It's your responsibility. My responsibility is to my daughter, the one you abandoned. We didn't abandon anyone. We went on a vacation while she was in surgery. The timing was unfortunate. Unfortunate? I laughed. That's what you're calling it? Mommy? Eliana appeared behind me, still weak but curious. Is that Grandma? Mom's face softened. Hi, sweetheart. How are you feeling? My head hurts a little, but I'm okay. Did you bring me something from Paris? Silence. We were in a hurry to get back, Alina said finally. We'll get you something next time. There won't be a next time, I said. Don't be ridiculous, Mom snapped. Eliana, go back to the couch. The grown-ups need to talk. She can stay right here. This is her home. Vivian, you're being impossible. I need that transplant scheduled immediately. Every day we wait. Call your transplant coordinator. I did call her. She said you withdrew as a donor. That's insane. It's final. No, it's not. You're going to march into that hospital tomorrow and tell them you changed your mind. I'm not. Yes, you are, because I'm your mother and I'm telling you to. I looked at her through the crack in the door. This woman who'd given birth to me but never really loved me, who saw me as a resource, not a person. You're not my mother, I said quietly. Mothers protect their children. Mothers show up when their grandchildren are scared. Mothers don't abandon their families for vacation photos. How dare you? You want to know what a real mother looks like? Look at me. I slept in a hospital chair for 3 days. I held my daughter's hand while they cut open her skull. I fought for her when she couldn't fight for herself. That's what mothers do. I raised you. I fed you, clothed you. You did the bare minimum required by law. Congratulations. Vivian, please, Dad said. Your mother is sick. She needs your help. She needed my help when Eliana was born and I was struggling. She needed my help when I got divorced and had nowhere to go. She needed my help when I was working 2 jobs just to pay rent. Where was she then? That's different. How is it different? Because this is life or death. So was Eliana's surgery, but that didn't matter to you. Alina pushed forward. You're being selfish. Mom could die because of your petty grudge. Petty grudge? Your mother chose a croissant over her granddaughter's life. That's not what happened. That's exactly what happened. And now you want me to risk my life to save someone who couldn't be bothered to risk a vacation. Mommy, Eliana tugged on my shirt. Why is everyone yelling? Because some people think yelling will get them what they want. Will it? Not this time, baby. I looked back at my family through the crack in the door. I want you to leave now. We're not leaving until you agree to the transplant, Mom said. Then you'll be standing there a very long time. I closed the door and turned the deadbolt. The pounding started immediately, along with the shouting. Threats about calling lawyers, about disowning me, about telling everyone what a terrible daughter I was. I picked up Eliana and carried her to her bedroom, closing the door behind us. Are they mad at you, Mommy? Very mad. Why? Because I chose you over them. She wrapped her arms around my neck. I'm glad you chose me. I'll always choose you, baby, always. The pounding continued for another 10 minutes before finally stopping. I heard car doors slam and an engine start. They were gone, but I knew they'd be back. They came back the next morning, and the morning after that, each time with new tactics. First, it was guilt. Mom stood outside my door crying loudly enough for the neighbors to hear. Please, Vivian. I'm dying. How can you watch your own mother die? Then it was threats. Dad's voice booming through the apartment complex. You're making the biggest mistake of your life. Don't come crawling back to us when you need help. Then it was manipulation. Alina's voice sweet as poison. Think about Eliana. She's going to grow up knowing her mommy let grandma die. Is that the legacy you want? I didn't answer any of it. Just kept the door locked and the blinds closed. But they weren't just harassing me at home. My phone rang constantly from unknown numbers. Extended family members I hadn't spoken to in years suddenly had opinions about my medical decisions. Vivienne, this is your cousin Sarah. I can't believe what I'm hearing about you and Aunt Camilla. Viv, it's Uncle Tom. Your mother saved my life once when I was a kid. Don't you think you owe her the same? This is Patricia from your mother's book club. We're all praying that you'll do the right thing. I started keeping a notebook, writing down every call, every message, every guilt trip. The evidence was staggering. My work phone wasn't safe either. Vivian, this is Helen from HR. We've had several calls asking about your employment status. Is everything okay? What kind of calls? People claiming to be family members, asking if you're mentally stable enough to work. It's very concerning. I'm fine, Helen. My family is just going through something. Are you sure? Because if you need time off, I don't need time off. I need my family to stop calling my workplace. But it got worse. My neighbors started giving me strange looks. Mrs. Patterson from downstairs knocked on my door. Vivienne, dear, I got a very disturbing call yesterday. From who? A woman claiming to be your sister. She said you were having a mental breakdown and might be dangerous to Eliana. My blood ran cold. She said what? I told her that was nonsense. You're a wonderful mother. But she seemed very convinced that you needed help. What exactly did she say? That you were making irrational decisions that could hurt people, that you might need to be hospitalized. I gripped the doorframe. Mrs. Patterson, I want you to know that's not true. My family is angry with me about a personal decision, and they're trying to make me look unstable. I figured as much. But dear, maybe you should document these calls, in case they escalate. Smart woman. That afternoon, my phone rang again. This time, it was Dr. Martinez's office. Mrs. Kent, this is Janet from Dr. Martinez's office. We've had multiple calls from your family members expressing concern about your mental state. My mental state is fine. They're suggesting you might be suffering from postpartum depression or anxiety that's affecting your judgment. Postpartum? My daughter is 6 years old. I know it sounds unusual, but they're quite insistent. They want us to require a psychiatric evaluation before we remove you from the donor list. Can they do that? Not legally, no, but they're being very persistent. One of them called 5 times yesterday. Which one? A woman named Alina. She claims to have medical power of attorney for you. She absolutely does not. I didn't think so, but I wanted to confirm. Should I block their numbers? Please. After I hung up, I called my lawyer. Well, the lawyer who'd handled my divorce. I couldn't afford much, but I needed advice. Vivian, what can I do for you? David, my family is harassing me. They're calling my work, my neighbors, my doctors. They're claiming I'm mentally unstable. What's this about? I explained the situation. The transplant, the hospital, the withdrawal. Jesus, Vivian, I'm sorry you're dealing with this. Can they force me to undergo a psychiatric evaluation? Not unless they can prove you're a danger to yourself or others. Are you? Of course not. Then document everything. Every call, every threat, every lie they tell about you. If this escalates, we might need a restraining order. Can I get one now? We'd need to prove harassment. How many times have they contacted you? I looked at my notebook. 47 calls in 3 days, plus showing up at my apartment twice. That should be enough. I'll draft the paperwork. That evening, Eliana was coloring at the kitchen table when my phone rang. Unknown number, as usual. Hello? Vivienne, it's Penelope from the transplant center. I thought I told you not to call me. I know, but this is urgent. Your mother has been hospitalized. I felt my stomach drop. What happened? Her liver function has deteriorated rapidly. She's in acute liver failure. How long does she have? Without a transplant? Days, maybe a week. I closed my eyes. And with a transplant? If we can find a donor, her chances are good. But the waiting list is long, and her blood type is rare. How rare? Very. You were her best hope. Were. Vivian, I have to ask one more time. Is there any chance you'd reconsider? I looked at Eliana, her head bent over her coloring book, tongue poking out in concentration. My daughter, who'd almost died while her grandmother sipped champagne in Paris. No. I understand. I'm sorry it came to this. So am I. After I hung up, Eliana looked up from her drawing. Who was that, Mommy? Someone from the hospital. Is Grandma sicker? Yes, baby, she's very sick. Are you sad? I thought about it. Was I sad, or was I something else entirely? I'm sad that it had to come to this, but not sad that she's sick. Smart, perceptive child. I'm sad that she chose to be the kind of person who gets sick alone. Eliana nodded like that made perfect sense to her. Mommy, do you think she's sorry now? I don't know, sweetheart, but it doesn't matter anymore. Why not? Because sorry doesn't fix everything. Sometimes it's too late for sorry. The call came at 2 a.m. Vivian, you need to come to the hospital, now. Dad's voice was raw, desperate. Why? Your mother is dying, tonight. The doctors say she has hours, maybe less. I sat up in bed, my heart pounding. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry? That's all you have to say? What do you want me to say? I want you to get down here and save her life. I can't do that anymore, Dad. The window for transplant surgery has passed. The hell it has. The doctors said if you come in right now, they might be able to... No. Vivian, please. She's asking for you. Is she? Yes. She wants to see you before... I looked at Eliana sleeping peacefully in her bed. Her bandages were almost gone now, just a small patch covering the incision site. I'll come see her, but I'm not changing my mind about the transplant. Just come, please. I called Mrs. Patterson to watch Eliana and drove to the hospital. The ICU was eerily quiet at this hour. I found room 314 and stopped outside the door. Through the glass, I could see Mom hooked up to machines, her skin yellow and waxy. Dad sat beside her bed, holding her hand. Alina was curled up in a chair, crying. I knocked softly and entered. Vivienne. Mom's voice was barely a whisper. You came. I came. I knew you would. You're a good daughter. I didn't respond to that. Sit down, please. I remained standing. How are you feeling? Like I'm dying. She tried to laugh, but it came out as a cough. Which I am. The doctors explained your condition. They did. They also said you could still save me. No, I can't. Yes, you can. It's not too late. They can prep you for surgery right now. Mom, I'm not doing the transplant. Her face crumpled. Why? Why are you doing this to me? I'm not doing anything to you. I'm protecting my daughter. From what? From people who don't value her life. That's not true. We love Eliana. Do you? Because when she was dying, you were taking selfies in Paris. We didn't know she was dying. You didn't care enough to find out. Dad stood up. Vivian, your mother is dying. Right now, tonight. You can save her. She could have saved herself by being a better mother and grandmother. How can you be so cruel? Cruel? I held my 6-year-old daughter's hand while surgeons cut open her skull. Alone. That's cruel. We explained about the trip. You chose a vacation over your granddaughter's life. There's no explanation that makes that okay. Mom struggled to sit up. Vivian, I'm begging you. Please, I don't want to die. Then you should have thought about that before you showed me how little I meant to you. You mean everything to me. No, I don't. I mean nothing to you. I'm just spare parts. That's not true. When's the last time you called me just to talk? When's the last time you asked about my life, my job, my struggles? When's the last time you visited Eliana without needing something from me? She stared at me, unable to answer. That's what I thought. Vivienne, please, Alina sobbed. Don't let her die because you're angry. I'm not letting her die. Her liver is letting her die. You could fix it. I could, but I won't. Why? Because she taught me that family only matters when it's convenient. So this is inconvenient for me. Mom's monitor started beeping faster. You're killing me. No, I'm not. You killed yourself the moment you chose Paris over Eliana. We're sorry about that. We're sorry we weren't there. Are you? Or are you just sorry that it's costing you my liver? We're genuinely sorry. Prove it. How? Tell me one thing you remember about Eliana's birth. One detail from when she was a baby. One story about her first steps or first words. Silence. You can't, can you? Because you weren't there. You've never been there. We were busy. You were busy for 6 years? Too busy to know your own granddaughter? The machines beeped louder. A nurse rushed in. I need everyone to step back, please. Is she? Dad asked. Her blood pressure is dropping. We need to stabilize her. Vivian, Mom gasped. Please, I'm scared. I looked at her lying there, small and yellow and dying. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. I was scared too, I said quietly, when I was sitting alone in that waiting room, not knowing if my daughter would live or die. I was terrified, and you were laughing in Paris. Vivian, you made your choice. Now live with it, or don't. I turned to leave. Wait, the nurse called. There's been a development. We found a donor. Everyone froze. What? Dad said. An anonymous donor came forward an hour ago. Perfect match. We're prepping for surgery now. I stared at the nurse. Anonymous? Yes. Someone who heard about the case and wanted to help. Mom's eyes filled with tears. Thank God. I walked out of the room without another word. In the hallway, Dr. Dunn was waiting. Vivian, I heard you were here. Dr. Dunn, what are you doing here? He smiled sadly. Sometimes good people do good things, even when they don't have to. It took me a moment to understand. You? Anonymous donor. Seemed like the right thing to do. But why? Because that little girl of yours deserves to grow up knowing that someone fought for what was right, even if it wasn't her family. I stared at Dr. Dunn in the hospital hallway, trying to process what he'd just told me. You donated part of your liver to my mother? I did. But why? You don't even know her. I know you, and I know Eliana. That little girl has been through enough trauma without losing her grandmother on top of everything else. Even after what they did? Especially after what they did. Someone needed to show her that adults can make the right choice even when it's hard. I felt tears burning my eyes. Dr. Dunn, I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything. Just go home to your daughter. I drove home in a daze. Mrs. Patterson was waiting with a cup of tea and worried eyes. How is she? She's going to live. Someone else donated their liver. Oh, thank goodness. And how are you? I honestly don't know. Eliana was still sleeping when I checked on her. I sat on the edge of her bed, watching her breathe. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Surgery successful. Your mother is stable. Penelope. I set the phone aside without responding. The next morning, Eliana woke up asking about breakfast and cartoons. Normal 6-year-old concerns. I made her pancakes and tried to pretend everything was normal. My phone rang around noon. Dad. Vivienne, your mother wants to see you. How is she? Weak, but alive. The surgery went well. I'm glad. Will you come? I don't think that's a good idea. She wants to apologize. For what? For everything. For Paris, for not being there, for taking you for granted. And what do you want to apologize for? Silence. That's what I thought. Vivian, we're family. No, we're not. Family shows up. Family cares. Family doesn't abandon 6-year-olds during brain surgery. We made a mistake. You made a choice, and I made mine. I hung up. That afternoon, Alina showed up at my door, alone this time. Can we talk? We have nothing to talk about. Please, just 5 minutes. Against my better judgment, I let her in. Eliana was napping, so we sat in the kitchen. Mom almost died because of you, she said. Mom almost died because of her liver disease. You could have saved her. Someone else did save her. But it should have been you. Why? Because I'm the designated family martyr? Because you're her daughter. So are you. Where's your liver? I'm not a match. How convenient. Alina's face flushed. That's not my fault. And it's not my responsibility. She raised you. She housed me. There's a difference. You're being dramatic. Am I? Tell me one time in the last 6 years that Mom called to check on me without needing something. Alina opened her mouth, then closed it. Tell me one birthday party of Eliana's that she attended. One school play, one doctor's appointment. She was busy. She was busy with you, taking you shopping, paying for your apartment, bailing you out of your messes. When's the last time she did any of that for me? You never asked. I shouldn't have to ask my mother to love me. Alina looked around my small apartment. You know she's cutting you out of the will, right? Good. I don't want anything from her. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is waiting so long to stand up for myself. What about Eliana? She'll grow up without grandparents. She'll grow up knowing her mother fought for her. That's worth more than grandparents who don't show up. Alina stood up. You're making a huge mistake. I'm making the right choice for my daughter. You'll be sorry. I'm already sorry. Sorry I wasted 34 years trying to earn love from people who don't know how to give it. After she left, I sat at my kitchen table and opened my laptop. I started typing. My mother needed my liver to survive, but when my 6-year-old daughter needed brain surgery, my family chose Paris instead. I wrote for 2 hours. Every detail, every phone call, every cruel dismissal. When I finished, I posted it online. The responses came immediately. Hundreds of them. You did the right thing. Family isn't blood, it's loyalty. Your daughter is lucky to have you. I'm so sorry you went through this alone. But there were negative responses too. You're a monster. How can you let your mother die? You'll regret this forever. I read them all, then closed the laptop. My phone buzzed. A text from another unknown number. You'll regret this forever. Eh? I screenshot it, then deleted it without responding. Eliana wandered into the kitchen, rubbing her eyes. Mommy, can we go to the park? Of course, baby. Will Grandma come with us when she's better? I knelt down to her level. I don't think so, sweetheart. Because she's still mad at you? Because some people don't know how to love properly. But you love me properly? I love you perfectly. She hugged me tight. That's all I need. We walked to the park hand in hand. The sun was shining and Eliana laughed as she went down the slide. Other parents smiled at us and I realized something. This was enough. This was everything. My phone buzzed one more time. I glanced at it, expecting another guilt trip or threat. Instead, it was a message from Dr. Dunn. How's our brave girl doing? I looked at Eliana, spinning on the merry-go-round with pure joy on her face. She's perfect, I typed back. We both are. And for the first time in my life, I meant it.